Dear friends, I wish you all a very happy feast of Corpus Christi, the feast of the body and blood of Jesus Christ. It has been almost 3 months. There is no chance to go to church. There is no Eucharistic celebration for people. There is no chance to receive Holy Communion. In this situation, how this feast of body and blood of Christ be meaningful? There is no SSC meeting, there is no group gathering, there is no chance to receive Holy Communion outside the Eucharist. In this situation, how this feast of body and blood of Christ be meaningful? Even we see live streaming, YouTube prayers, adorations, Eucharist. How this feast of Corpus Christi had become meaningful. Yes, dear friends, in today's situation, we hear and we read, we know. It is said we are poor and we die like insects. People express about the situation affected by this serious virus. And it is well known in major cities, people are treated worse than animals. Diseased people are thrown in garbage. Deceased person's body is in the ward among the patients. They are laid in lobby. They are laid in the waiting areas. And media says it's horrific and it's pathetic. Yes, a human person is respected for life. The flesh and blood, it says about life. When human person's flesh and blood, they don't work, it becomes dead body. The dead bodies are treated worse than animals. There is no respect. They call this body dead animal. Today the feast gives us life and calling us to respect each one's life as each one is created given the breath of God. In the early 2nd century, Romans criticized the Christians for receiving communion. When they say we receive body and blood of Christ, they said you're cannibals. You're cannibals eating the flesh of a person. The Christians said, we are not eating the flesh of dead animal, dead person. People who eat dead flesh are cannibals. We eat the life, the fullness of life of Jesus Christ. There's a bond, there is oneness. Yes, dear friends, from the beginning, this eating, consuming of body and blood of Christ went through a lot of discussion, debate. But this feast, our Eucharist, our participation, celebration, adoration, and communion, all should witness the life of God with us. He is abiding with us. I abide in you. Whoever eats will abide in me. And second, whoever drinks will experience my union. My flesh is your food. My blood is your drink. That union and abiding element are lived out. Church. John Paul II says in John Paul II, Eucharist makes the church, church makes the Eucharist. Though we don't have a possibility to experience this communion, do we sustain the hope? Do we create the longing? Do we wait for the day to go back to church? Or do we lose interest in all this situation? First reading, how they are reminded of manna. The 2 words, don't forget, remember. When you are hungry, the manna was given. Manna was given to show He is walking with you. He is leading you just before the promised land. They are reminded, don't forget, remember. When we feel hungry, people make a lot of fast. When they go for fast, starving, willingly, they want to be filled with God's power. So here, when the gospel, when Jesus speaks about my flesh, my blood, he said, when you fast, when you're hungry, you need to be filled. Otherwise, the fasting will defeat you. The hungry person can fall. As first parents, Adam and Eve, ate the forbidden tree's fruit. Jesus is fasting the temptation. So, the fasting in life, the person's struggle in life, need to be fed, filled with the body and blood of Jesus Christ, flesh and blood of Jesus Christ, to give that abiding presence of the Lord, to give the experience of union. Jesus' flesh and blood, it's shed, it's given, it's offered. In the old covenant, animals' blood is shed and sprinkled, and flesh was sacrificed. So they consumed also. But that element of sanctification, the element of redemption, was supposed to be the experience. There was no oneness. It was animal's blood, animal's flesh. But the burnt offering gave the feeling of redemption. Here Jesus himself, his flesh, his body, it's more than sprinkled. It's become part of us. That's why today's gospel, the constant repetition of eat. Whoever eats, whoever drinks, whoever consumes. Pope Benedict XVI has written a wonderful book called Feast of Faith. In this Feast of Faith, he says, consuming, eating, is an invitation. It's an invitation. He gives how the Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek explanation of flesh that we know. So he's saying to eat, because this new covenant inviting us to eat, partake, participate, because it's a sacred meal. It's consumed, eaten in temple. Second, it's shared, it's eaten together with people, with family, with friends. So there's abiding presence. The communion union aspect is mentioned. Yes, dear friends, as we come to the altar of God today through YouTube live streaming, let us ask ourselves how this feast of body and blood renews my life, my covenantal life, my family life, my Christian life with one another. Especially in today's conditions, we know that this feast has been instituted in 1263. A priest from Prague was on his way to Rome on a pilgrimage seeking strength as well as having doubt about his vocations. He stopped at the Catechism of St. Christina at Bolsena, Italy, which is 7 miles away from Rome. He celebrated the Eucharist. As he raised the host during the consecration, the bread turned into flesh and began to bleed. The drops of the blood fell on the corporal, the small white cloth on the altar. The following year, Pope Urban XIV commissioned this feast of Corpus Christi. Ever since this miracle, he led the procession of Corpus Christi in the street, that the Lord whom we consume, eat, whom we celebrate, whom we adore, He is abiding in us, He is part of our life. The procession was a witness to the communion, the union of Jesus with everyone. I had an opportunity to be there, to visit that place in 2011. I was really thrilled and enriched and renewed to be in this miraculous historical place in 2011. And we have a wonderful experience shared by many people Many miracles, Eucharistic miracles, taken place in so many places. We know, we are aware of those miracles. Let us go through any one of the miracles as you have time, read, explore. Dominic Tang, the courageous Chinese archbishop, when he was imprisoned for 21 years, he used to be asked by the soldiers from the prison. He used to be asked, what do you want? We'll give some 30 minutes for you. Do you want to have a hot shower? What would you like? You want to go for a walk? You want to change your clothes? You want to go for a chat? Make a phone call to do something in writing? He says, no, I don't want to have a shower. I don't want to change my clothes. I don't want to waste my time. Then what do you want? He said, I would like to celebrate Eucharist. Because the Lord is abiding with me. It should be experienced personally. I want to have union with Him. The great challenge for all of us is, dear friends, it's been 3 months, I don't know how long it's going to be. Do we sustain the longing, the desire to go back to church, to kneel before Blessed Sacrament, to long to have that communion together as family, as a community? Because when we eat, He abides in us, with us, among us. And He is part of us. We experience the union. Holy Eucharist is God's constant calling to be part of us. Let us sustain that longing, desire. He abides in us. We abide in Him. Amen.